He just went ahead and went. No countdown. It didn't give me anything. I forgot to even loop it. Whatever. We'll just jump into it. We'll go with the flow. We are live with the AEW Dynamite pre-show, as always, every single week, except this week we are live at 6:30 because we have a special guest, Kaden Lee of the Performance Center. Kaden, what's going on?
Not much. I am really excited for Dynamite, the first Dynamite outside of North America ever, as we head into AEW All in London this Sunday. I'm just like I feel the buzz. I feel the buzz of All In, so I'm feeling really excited.
Yeah, no matter what this card is like, just it's got a feel to it. It's got, to use a term that everybody seems to use a little bit too much, it's got aura. I'm afraid to say it, but it has aura. If you guys are in here right now, make sure to leave a comment, say what's up in the live chat, and also make sure to leave a like on the stream. It helps with discoverability. Make sure to send any super chats if you're feeling oh so grateful, oh so gracious, I should say. And yeah, I mean, we might as well get right into it. So when I've been on podcasts before with other people, they've always asked me, how did I get into wrestling? So I feel like I should offer you that courtesy. How did you get into wrestling?
This is my favorite story ever because it's
Hmm.
it's the funniest thing. So I went to my first Raw in 2008 here in Austin, Texas. I'm back home for a few days, and I went to a Raw at the University of Texas, and I didn't become a fan. I don't remember anything. We had like free tickets from friends, and then
Hmm.
in 2017, it was during the Kevin Owens Shane McMahon feud in September of 2017, and I think I was just like, sitting at home, and I had watched like I just been watching WWE clips because that was when I lived in Florida and WrestleMania was in Orlando, so I started like looking at more clips, and it was on, so I threw SmackDown on, and the KO Shane feud pulled me in. I liked the authority stuff about it. I really liked it, blurred lines a lot, and from there they were like, oh, okay, so Hell in a Cell and TLC are going to be in the same month. So if you get 1 month free of the WWE Network, then you can watch both shows. And I was like, oh, let's do that. And then it pulled me in, and I stayed with the network, and then Peacock,
Hmm.
AEW. I had heard about that about a year later. I'd heard about like the starting of a new company, and then I ended up getting really invested in AEW.
Hmm.
I went to the first Double or Nothing in Las Vegas as a sophomore in high school,
Oh yeah.
and that carried me through high school. Wrestling really just carried me through high school, and I've become a diehard fan since.
That's a great tale. That's a very interesting time to
Mhm.
have gotten into WWE. I feel like as you've grown, as you realized what was going on, you kind of were like, is that ever like question? You ever question that time? Like, why do I have to choose that time?
It makes no sense that I got in then with like how bad it was because I loved it too. I was like, oh, this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
amazing. And then when I started watching review shows, they were like, oh, this is terrible. And I was like, what are y'all talking about? It's great. And then as I
yeah,
found
yeah.
W, I was like, oh yeah, this is not good wrestling.
Yeah, I feel like it's just like those rose-colored glasses, the nice little well, what's that term? It's like when you first get in a relationship and like the first few like months are so good. It's like the
Yeah,
honeymoon phase of pro
yeah, the
wrestling. It's
honeymoon
like
phase.
yeah, it's like Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. Yeah, that's the realness. That's real stuff right there. Um, but yeah, it's great to see some of you in chat already. Obviously, WrestleHook, we didn't need this, bro. We didn't need to see the laughing emojis. Everyone makes mistakes, dog. This is crazy from you. And then next up, we of course have Ian Davis. Great to see you as always, Ian Davis. Hope everything is well. Hope everything is well with you. And he asks, what would you name three? What three things would you give to make AEW better? This is a crazy question to start off with. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is absolutely nuts. But since you asked it, we'll start off. I'm gonna go ahead and quick. We're just gonna get into the tag team stuff. I feel like that's got to be better, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's an easy number one. That's what made AEW special was the tag team division, and I think in the last I would say like the last like 18, 24 months since the last like good feud I really think they had was Swerve in Our Glory and Acclaimed, and that was September to November of 2022. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's definitely the one I would point out first.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I felt like it's been emphasized on the show. Obviously made a whole video about it. Did all that good stuff, had to get some yapping off, but I feel like three questions to name AEW better. We got to get a better like more positive question, Ian. We got to get something more I don't know, what are you excited about on All In? I don't know. This is what are we doing here, but Speaking of All In, we might as well jump into it with Dynamite. Obviously, first up, we have the MJF and Will Ospreay face to face. This should be a fun one. I'm pretty excited to see what this is going to be. The feud has been, it's had its highs and lows, but I've been invested into this. If there's one thing about MJF, he's always going to make him any feud he's in, any person he's facing, he's going to give it a story, and I feel like we've done that here. There should be some good heat here in Cardiff, right, Caden?
Yeah, I've been pointing out for the last few weeks that this feud really felt like it was supposed to start when they got to Cardiff
Mm-hmm.
and do the MJF American stuff, like start it round here, and then they changed their mind and put the title on him early and pushed that early and added the CMLL and added going to Rev Pro, but it's been in America, right? Like that gimmick
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't work in the United States. You need to go overseas in order for it to be successful, and it worked really well in CMLL and obviously, like I mentioned, the Rev Pro show. So
Mm-hmm.
this is the segment that they've been waiting for with this whole story, and I think it's going to be really good in that building with the Osprey fans.
Yeah, I have total agreement, honestly, because I was in person for both the shows that they kind of tried to sell this story on. I was in person for Dynamite in North Carolina and South Carolina. And brother, I'm gonna tell you, those are not the states you wanna get some support behind a European man. I don't think that's the way to do it. But we're here in Cardiff. That's the best place to do it. I'm sure they won't be chanting USA, so there's at least that. We got a few comments here as well. Happy All In Week from MVF. Great to see you. What 10 people do you think are in the Gauntlet match? I think the Gauntlet could be even bigger than 10, but
I have
I think
21, right? That's the max.
I don't know what I didn't even know there was a max. I thought you could just go forever.
So I think like the original when they because it's casino, I think it was
Mm,
supposed to be like 20, and then like the last person's like the Joker,
mm,
but they've never
yeah,
gotten past like 9 people.
that makes sense. We could throw out a few names. I don't know about naming all 10 now, but I think one guy I'm really excited to see is that's likely will be in this Ricochet. I think he's kind of a lock for it, I'd say. But what about you? Who's some names you're excited for?
Ricochet is one I've been talking about with my friends for the last few days. Like that's definitely I feel like that's almost a guarantee. I got like I had Claudio. I'm not feeling that one as much anymore. I feel like maybe like Moxley, because if you're gonna, yeah, I think like Moxley, I've gotten convinced on, so I just don't think they're gonna put another BCC guy in there. Like Moxley,
Hmm.
maybe Okada, Hangman feels like a guaranteed win with how they're setting things up, and especially if it's gonna be used as a Money in the Bank, which is what the rumors are at least.
Hmm.
I think it's got to go to Hangman.
Yeah, I think all three names you listed there are a lock. I think Hangman's a really good shot to win it as well. But personally, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been building this Ricochet train. I'd really like to see just a fun match between him and Danielson. I feel like that'd
Oh
be
yeah,
it would just be a cool one. Why not? Do some cool stuff.
yeah, that'd be a good one to like. Even if he doesn't win this, that's a good one to throw on All Out, just so he has
Hmm.
an easy win, and Ricochet can lose and be okay.
Yeah, just so he's like on the show, gets a cool opponent. Like Ricochet, like you said, I don't know if I necessarily want him to lose a bunch of matches going in, but this is like if he were to win the gauntlet like that, I feel like it'd be a big way to introduce him and tell everybody, hey, this is a guy you should watch out for. He might win some good stuff here.
For sure.
Yeah. We got next up WrestleHook. Great to see you. Are the Costco guys going to wrestle Jeff Jarrett's faction at All Out? I don't know because I kind of want them to vie for the trios belts. I don't know about Jeff Jarrett's faction, but you see trios championships in mind for the Costco guys, and I'm assuming the Rizzler is going to
Yeah, it
show
would
up
have to
too.
be, yeah, AJ Big Justice and the Rizzler. Oh
Hmm.
god, I would love to see them wrestle Christian Cage, Luchasaurus,
Oh,
and Nick
hold
Wayne.
on now.
That would be that's unfortunately that is real grabs.
That is real grabs. We're gonna need to get some booms live in Wembley Stadium. I'm or Chicago. Yeah, bring the boom is what I say. We got Young Nabs here up next. Great to see you. What matches do you think will be added to the pre-show card for All in Wembley? Yeah, the pre-show is kind of crazy. It's 2 hours long. I don't know what that's about. I don't even know what they could add at this point. I feel like we could have the Willow and Chris and Stoke and Ishii match go an hour. Hey.
I think Soraya gets on there with an open challenge.
Hmm.
Um, I'm kind of interested in like who they would have potentially answering that, but that's where I'm leaning at least for something to add. And then I have no idea like what else. Michael Oku, I think, needs to get on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he's in the gauntlet. Like I think you could throw
He
him
seems a
again.
gauntlet guy.
Yeah, but I think you could do like him versus like a Kyle Fletcher on the pre-show, and that'd be pretty fun.
Ooh, hold on now. Hold on now. Big Kai Fletch and Wembley. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I would put Fletcher on there. I think I mean, he's Australian. He's not. Some people confuse him and think he's English. But I think still it would be like with his connection to England. I think it would be a really cool spot for him.
Yeah, that'd be a really fun match. Speaking on Saraya Open Challenge, I feel like that could happen. She's obviously got a match tonight we'll get into later, but I could see that happening. Do you see some Jamie Hayter action on this show? Maybe that could be the response to Saraya Open Challenge.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I feel like you got to do that on. Oh, maybe you do that on the 0 hour, like as a way to get people to buy a pay-per-view. Be like, oh, if we had Jamie Hayter, who else could show up tonight? That's not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. That's one I could definitely see. I think Jamie's pretty much a lock for the show.
Oh yeah.
Not, brother. I'm ecstatic to see her. I'm really excited to see Big Hater back.
Yeah.
We have a few names here. We'll get to Ian Davis first. What's y'all's most anticipated match? Mine would be Women's World Champion. Yeah, I was absolutely going to get into this later. We're going to talk a little bit about All In, all this stuff. But since, Ian Davis asked the question now, we might as well go for it. What's your most anticipated match, Kaden?
I am checking the Wikipedia to make sure I know every single thing because there are a lot of matches on this show. I'm leaning like the Casino Gauntlet. I say, but if I'm gonna pick that feels like a cop out because it is the stip match and it's gonna be really fun. I think Jack Perry and Darby Allin is going to be a blast.
Oh yeah, that's a sleeper. The coffin match. Two young guys are gonna go crazy. We know Darby. He's gonna lose his mind a little bit.
I also think we're going to see and maybe an Icon helping out Darby Allin.
Oh, I could see something like that. Maybe I don't know how tall the Wembley rafters are, but I don't know if we want to suspend the old fella up there, but I think that's a great shout. That's a very underrated match. I feel like that people are kind of like sleeping on for match of the night. I'm gonna have to side with Ian Davis here. I'm definitely most excited about the women's world title match. I feel like it's been built to so well. Everything's gotten behind it. I have so much hype. All the angles they've been shooting. I'm sure they're gonna do something tonight. Yeah, that's one I'm really excited for. And we'll do a little transition. We'll do a little transition action. We have a match tonight. The AEW Women's World Championship. It is Toni Storm, the champion, defending against Saraya. If Saraya wins, she'll be going on to face Mariah May at All In. This is a match that I'm not necessarily hyped about, but I think Saraya has been serviceable enough in the ring. We can talk about all the outside stuff, which that's a whole other ordeal. But she's been solid enough in ring, and I feel like when you're in there with Toni Storm, who has looked really good over the past few months, I feel like they're gonna do something of note, especially because we're in England, we're in Cardiff, so Saraya's hometown.
Yeah, I think the crowd is going to be hot for this with Saraya being in England. I'm interested in what they do. Saraya has been very good I would say she's been pretty good in the ring the last few matches she's had, significantly better than that first year in AEW because she's kind of finding her groove a little bit and found the style that works best for her. And Toni, she's going to use this as her warm-up match for Mariah. So I'm intrigued by how they work this and how it goes into the Mariah match, but I think we all know who the winner is.
Yeah, I think brother, I hope we all know who the winner is. If it goes the other way, it's looking very dangerous. I am looking as this to be a setup for Mariah. I feel like maybe we'll see a more aggressive Toni Storm to kind of tell everybody, yeah, I'm gonna be a mean little asshole to Mariah at All In.
I will say I kind of wish they did Mercedes in this match instead for Saraya.
That would be interesting, yeah.
Yeah, the story with them two, I don't know, maybe
all that history.
Doesn't want to work Mercedes, but I feel like I've heard reports that she wanted to. It would.
Yeah.
That's a good match to do in Cardiff because I think that's more 50-50.
Yeah.
Because you could say, Saraya, you could just say Mercedes and Britt are still going to have the match, not for the title, but you know for a fact that Toni and Mariah is still happening. So I think that would have put a little bit more doubt in people's minds. But I wonder if they wanted to get Toni a win in the UK before we got Wembley where she'd maybe lose.
That feels likely. I definitely, now that you've said it, I feel like that would have been a really good match. You said that, maybe she wouldn't want it, but I feel like both Mercedes and Soraya have both kind of said in interviews like, hey, let's run this back. Let's do this again. Maybe like as a make do for all that happened way back when. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I wouldn't have minded to go the other way, but this match should be, it shouldn't be too bad. We got Apollo in the chat. Great to see you, Apollo. He's got a few names for the gauntlet. We got Hobbs and Jay White. Hobbs definitely feels like a lock, and so does Jay. I mean, Hobbs has been teasing a return on Twitter. He's got to be booked real good.
I think Jay's a guarantee. Hobbs, I would say like 75%.
Yeah, that's where I'd put it as well. We have Young Nabs. I would have saved the Claudio and Okada match at All in Wembley. I don't know. It's an interesting little shout. I mean, it's a little unfortunate that Okada doesn't have a singles match on that show. He is Okada. But I feel like if you want to build a big match for Cardiff, then I feel like maybe this is the way to do it. And since we're gonna get into it now, we might as well pull up this nice little banner here, the AEW Continental Championship. Kazuchika Okada is defending against Claudio Castagnoli. What are your thoughts on this match? And what are your thoughts on it not being on the All In main card?
I don't mind it. In an ideal world, I would have probably cut out Jericho and I would have moved the trios titles to the pre-show and not done ladder match, but that's what we decided to go with, and we have 9 matches on the show right now. I just don't think it's a good idea to put have 10 matches on the show in general, especially if
Yeah.
you end up adding Saraya, then you already are at 10. So I wouldn't have added it. I think doing it in the unique setting of Cardiff in that venue, those 1,000 people there sold out, it's unique and it makes it stand out more and it gives you something really cool to do on TV, and that is important. I still think I think Okada gets on this show. I think he's in the Casino Gauntlet, so he's
Yeah.
still going to get on the show. I think this is just like it's a good TV match. I honestly, this matchup in general, I would not have put on All In because I don't think it's like All In worthy. Personally, I think it's a TV.
Yeah.
I 100% do.
I think that's not a terrible thing to say, especially given all these people like both Kazuchika Okada and Claudio Castagnoli standing in AEW recently. It doesn't feel like they're presented as the biggest deals on the biggest show. I wouldn't have minded it on All In personally if it was on there, but now we've done it. I agree with you. I think it's great to give this Cardiff Dynamite's a big time Dynamite. It's a big deal. So I feel like putting this kind of caliber of match, because this has a pretty high floor, I feel like is really good for that Cardiff crowd. We got another one here. We have some people are saying Lashley for the gauntlet. I don't know. I don't think. I feel like that's more like a 15, maybe 10. I would even say it feels a little too far fetched.
I think he's coming into the company. I just don't think it's. I think they do Ricochet and then they save Lashley. They
I agree.
debuts.
Yeah, it's good to do that. It's good to kind of, do one on this show, then have another one in the chamber ready to go. I feel like that makes it feel a lot more, got to watch every week, got to see what happens, We have one from Angen PN. Hangman is wrong. The story has never been about the title. In a way, I did see you get this off on Twitter, and it had me questioning. I had to think about it for a minute, and in a way, I don't think you're wrong, but I think overall, in the grand scheme of things, it kind of is because when the story first started out, Hangman was saying, "Swerve, I don't want you to win this title. You don't deserve it. That I made this title. I deserve it. You don't. You've broke into my house. You've made my family move. We've had to be fearful in our own homes because of you, and you don't deserve to hold this world title at the top." I feel like that kind of inherently makes it about the world title.
Yeah, I think Angen was being ironic a little bit.
No, he was getting that off. He was getting that off.
Yeah, I think. I mean, the story inherently is about the title. It started not being as much about it, but that's always been the basis of Hangman in AEW is getting back to the World Championship, and yeah, that's what the story originally was that Hangman was in that triple threat, not because he cared about the title. At that point, he no longer cared about the title. Then it was, I need to make sure Swerve doesn't win the title, and I will do whatever I can to make sure he doesn't. That's why he tapped out whenever Joe had him in Warlock, because he knew Swerve was right there to break it up, and he was like, I'm not letting Swerve win this match. Win the match, and
yeah, I think you're spitting there. Either way, and Gen PN, if you're getting this off for real, then that's your real response. If you're joking, then that's for all the people who thought it was real. Ian Davis, Kyle Fletcher, good. You're very correct. Kyle Fletcher is very good.
Hmm.
Another one from Anjen. I'd add a hologram match on the Wembley kickoff. Look, I'm a member of the Holo Gang, but come on now. Let's keep it real for a minute.
Come on.
Yeah,
They
come
have
on.
not built him up nearly enough to put him on Wembley.
Yeah, maybe let's have him run a few times there on Collision.
Yeah.
We have JA. Who do you think is going to be the fourth trio in the trios match, and why is it Scorpio and Private Party? That's an interesting shout. They've been obviously had that vignette on TV. I could see that being the team. I could also see maybe some top flight action on there. What about you, Kaden?
I plead the fifth because I already know the answer.
Oh shit, he's a ball knower. Uh-oh. Okay, plead the fifth.
It is taped Collision.
Oh, good point. Good point. Oh my god, I
Like,
literally forgot they did that.
Dynamite and Collision both have been taped already.
Oh, I forgot they did that. I've been seeing Charlie tweet about it on the. Okay,
Yeah, I found out.
I've kept the spoilers away. We won't do spoilers on this show. We have to
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
we have to keep it clean over here.
This was like
Um,
the one thing I went out of my way to find. So I was like, I'm not waiting until Saturday to know this match. I'm gonna find it
yeah,
now. I don't care.
yeah. Maybe after the show, I might have to ask some questions. For now, we'll leave the spoilers off. Another one for MVF. Do you think they announced the new deal at All In? Fightful is thinking 150 million plus. I don't think so, like at all.
Fightful's not thinking that.
Yeah. Also, yeah.
Yeah. What Sean? So I listened to what Sean was saying today, and I've talked to him about it. What Sean said was his sources indicate that the deal is I think it's like the way he phrased it was like is likely going to be at least 2 times whatever they're making. And
Mhm.
the original deal was in the ballpark of like 40 million, and then they raised it to 50 to 60 when they got Rampage. And then
Mhm.
Collision, no one knows what it is, but probably like 75, 80 is what like Brandon Thurston estimates. So that's
Yeah.
where you would get to the 150 million number. I don't think it's announced at All In. I don't think it's announced for another like 3 months. I think we're pretty far away from the announcement.
Yeah, I don't even know how far at this point. And so we've been through this so many times where I've seen people on the timeline go, "Guys, it's coming soon. I know the number." And it's
It's
just
been a
like,
year.
yeah, it's
They
been
did that a year ago.
yeah, and I'm so at this point I'm like, bro, it gets announced when it gets announced. I'm not gonna worry about that until it comes, you know?
Yeah.
We have Thomas here in the chat. Somebody mentioned Jay White. I'm assuming it's for the gauntlet. If you don't know the lore of these streams, Thomas is an avid Jay White and Bang Bang Gang. I was gonna say meat rider, but I think he's just a stan. I don't know if that's the right word,
That's so big.
but I get it. I'm on the. I don't go as far as Thomas, but I do respect the Switchblade, and I love me some Bang Bang Gang. So I think he's definitely gonna be in that gauntlet.
Yeah.
And Jen clarifying, I was being ironic. We took you seriously. That's just how it goes sometimes. That's how it goes sometimes. Let's see here. We have one from RB. Will Pac have his Wembley moment? I think he kind of has to, right? Feels like he's got to get something. Gotta have something.
How do I phrase this? Yes, I think he gets his Wembley moment.
Yeah, maybe the gauntlet would be a good shot for him. He's got to get something though. I mean, we did this story. I thought it was going to be the challenge for against like Osprey or MJF, one of the two. I was hoping it to be Osprey. But assumingly that looks like it's going to be Osprey at All Out, which is a match I'm super excited about. But Pac didn't get his Wembley moment last year. It would be really unfortunate that he didn't get it this year if that's how it worked out.
I can almost guarantee he will be on the card.
Yeah, he's got to be somewhere. Another one from JA. Never mind, just got it spoiled. See, this is why I didn't do it. Look, we our hands are clean. In the sky, we are clean over here. We have another one here. Yo, early start. Yes, because we gotta get time with Kaden. We gotta show what's up. We gotta talk all in. So yeah, early start. I don't know if this will be every week, but I kind of like it. So we'll see. We have another one here. Apparently, Cardiff Dynamite went crazy. Look, I have no doubt it's gonna go crazy. And speaking of crazy, the build for Mercedes Monet and Britt Baker, who are going to be having a contract signing on this show. This is not a build that I've particularly enjoyed. I feel like it started off really hot. I feel like we were kind of in the beginning. It was like, okay, we have two big stars. Mercedes, obvious big star. Britt, the biggest star of AEW in terms of the women's division, just objectively. Whether or not people agree with that, it's up for debate. And it felt big time, but it felt like throughout the last few weeks we've just taken a few missteps. Maybe that's due to some suspensions of sort, maybe some backstage conversations from one Britt Baker, but whatever it is, the story's kind of gone off the rails, and I'm hoping maybe this makes it feel like two stars going at it in the biggest show AEW has again. What do you think this is going to look like, Hayden?
I have no clue. I This could be really good, or it could be a Mercedes carry job,
Mm.
or it could be like just honestly like shambolic. Um,
What's a
this
chance?
this story, it's like such a high chance. This story was not good because of the circumstances surrounding Britt Baker's suspension. She was taken off of TV for 3 weeks, and when you do that, it can mess things up, and you lose a flow. And even when she did the video that 1 week, that was not a great promo. And then
Yeah.
you have the awkward segment last week when she came in and took her time getting to the ring, took her time to hit Mercedes. A lot of that was very odd, and
Hmm.
feels like there's a disconnect between Mercedes and Britt here. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm just like reading too much into things, and that tends to happen with fans, which it's felt very awkward. Uh, yeah, like it's just not what it needed to be. I very much hope the match is good. I
Yeah.
hope this contract signing can save something. I'm really paying close attention to what this segment does, because unlike Mariah and Tony, where they don't need a segment. They've done such a good job to the build, and then like
Hmm.
Danielson and Swerve needed something last week. They got it. They're okay now.
Yeah.
This is the big match at this point that really badly needs a segment.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think you're crazy for thinking that. I feel like, fans do have a tendency to read into things. That's obvious. People love thinking they know ball on Twitter. But I feel like the awkwardness is just so obvious throughout all of these segments. I feel like it's hard not to see that. It's hard not to come away from it thinking that. I was at the show where she did the, video promo where Tony Schiavone came out and he was like, "Hey, she's unsuspended, but we got her via satellite, guys. She's not here, but satellite." And it was just awkward. It just didn't feel right. And then they actually did, have her in person, and again, just didn't feel right. It felt like everybody was just kind of messing things up, and I'm hoping that's not like a bad omen for how the match is going to go, because Mercedes is known to carry some people. She's that good. I feel like she's that talented in the ring. But Britt Baker has her moments, and I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be a tough challenge. But hopefully, like you said, this segment kind of breathes some new life into it, makes it feel like
Yeah.
two big stars. And we'll get back to the chat here. I am a Fruit Loop. I regret saying it every single time. What do you guys think about MXM Collection? I think they're the best tag team in AEW outside of the big three. Look, I respect MXM Collection. I think they're a fun act. I think they're a quality TV. I enjoy when they're on TV. They cut good promos. I feel like they're solid in ring. Not nothing crazy, but I feel like they're good enough.
Yeah.
I don't see them winning the tag titles. I don't see them getting to that ceiling. I don't. A lot of people have been saying that, but I don't know. I don't see it with them. What do you think?
They're a very good tag team, but I think with the state of the division right now, we forget how many amazing tag teams there are in AEW, even if
Hmm.
they don't re-sign the Lucha Brothers and they don't pick up Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah.
It's possible. It is very possible that they end up getting there, but once the division, this is going to sound so mean, once the division gets back to where it needs to be, there's no need for them to hold those titles. They like the Ring of
Yeah.
Honor titles are a very good set for them to take off of Dustin and Sammy, but like I get why you're saying it now with how the division is, but like if this was the division in 20, like if we look to 2021's tag division, they wouldn't even be in the conversation to hold the titles.
Yeah. I agree with that.
They're a very good team. We're just being like realistic.
Yeah, that's what I feel like a lot of people aren't being. I feel like a lot of people are just, I get it. The tag team division is in a rough state. It's not looking too good right now. So you want just a fun act to maybe breathe some life into it. But if it were up to me, I feel like they'd just be kind of an undercard team that maybe gets built up for a challenge. Maybe if they get, as hot as the Acclaimed once were, maybe they could be on that sort of footing. But
Mhm.
for now, I feel like they're a good undercard team. We have teams like Private Party and Top Flight that have been waiting far too long for those belts. I feel like it'd
Yeah.
be a disservice to jump over them. We have here, how is this is an angry comment. How is the greatest stadium wrestler ever, not in a singles at Wembley. We're talking about Okada here. I feel like it just didn't fit on this card. You know, it's what we were talking about a little earlier. It's unfortunate, but I think he's gonna have a good match here in Cardiff. Let's hear. Since Pac is a number one contender, he has to be in the All In Wembley card. I don't know about has to, but I feel like it's more so like he's from there. You know, he's gonna get a huge pop. He's gonna get that hometown crowd behind him. I feel like that's why he has to be on that card more so than that. You know.
Yeah, for sure. I think Pac needed to be on there more than a lot of other people. Like it is the UK. You do need to prioritize some of the UK guys. The Okada one, I still ideally I would have built him up for something bigger. I do think the plan was Omega, and he just didn't get to where they wanted
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
I
and they were
agree.
like, oh, okay, we're throwing him in the gauntlet now.
Hmm. Just let's just do this. You know, poor old Kenny. He's still dealing with some hurt guts. Hopefully he's doing okay, man. I need Big Kenny back.
We
We have another one here from Anjan. Hopefully the Bucks are locked from this Sunday and beyond. Yeah, we're gonna get into it maybe a little later, but we have that trios tag match at All In, the Bucks versus FTR versus the Acclaimed. I've been very open about how much I've disliked this match, how much I've been disliking the Bucks, and it sucks because I love the Bucks. I'm a huge fan. But if there's any time for them to lock in, it's got to be this Sunday. It's you're in a big moment, you're in a big card, big show. Now's the time. You can't be missing TV. We're done with all that. Build these belts up.
Yeah, if you're not going to show, like, I understand it's their contracts, but if you're the champion, you need to be
Yeah.
there. I said the same thing when Roman Reigns had that title for 1,000 days, and for the last 360, he was rarely on TV. Last 600, honestly, was rarely on TV, and that's a problem. You need to show up with your belts and defend them. I looked at the numbers, and I think now, oh, I'm alone. Uh, I'll continue with the Bucks. The Bucks, Kazuchika Okada and Jack Perry, when they had the titles, it's combined I think over 300 days with the World Tag Titles, Continental Championship, and the TNT title. And between all of them, there have been I think there's 4 defenses now. You have Jack Perry's defense against maybe it's 5. Jack Perry has his defense against Marco Stunt. The Young Bucks have a singular defense against the Acclaimed last Wednesday. Kazuchika Okada has a defense against Pac, Dax Harwood, and tonight he adds Claudio Castagnoli. So that's 5 defenses between all 5 members of the Elite. He'll be back. The internet is screwing up, so I will take over for a little bit by myself and I'll talk about the Elite and my issues with them. Yeah, but you add the defenses. That's 5 is I think it was 5 is Okada's tonight. If my math, it's 5. So 5 defenses in 300 something days combined as champions. And the Bucks have their second defense is winning the titles on April 21st, 2024, which is 120, 130 days ago, something like that. St. Louis Dynasty. I was in the building for that. That's how long ago it was. I was in a building for a match. So many pay-per-views where they didn't defend, like 2 straight pay-per-views where they didn't defend the titles. You have Double or Nothing where they had Anarchy in the Arena, and then you have Forbidden Door where they had that 6-man that was unfortunately not good. I forgot even what the match was because it was not fairly bad. So I hope that we start to see a change. If the Bucks are going to retain those titles on Sunday, first they need to show up. They need to show up to work. They need to put their working boots on and be 2021 Young Bucks when they were having amazing matches with those tag titles when they beat FTR Full Gear 2020. The second thing is if you're going to retain those belts, you need to show up to work, you need to defend. I do not care what the gimmick is. I understand that the Elite gimmick lends itself to not being on TV, but the issue is that the story is not necessarily being told the correct way on television, and you have a tag division that badly needs defending champions because of how bad it's been for almost 2 years now. You went through that FTR reign where their first defense was against Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett at Double or Nothing 2023, and they had that reign that was not good, had a pretty lackluster. I'd call it bad. I did not like the Bucks FTR match last year at All In. It was not a good match. And that whole reign was nothing. Big Bill and Ricky Starks was nothing. I think we're back.
We're back. We are back.
See a black screen.
Do you see black screen? Am I
I'm going to
seeing?
keep talking about this. it's just been in shambles since then. Like, you have the Ricky Starks and Big Bill title reign that led to absolutely nothing. They put the belts on Sting and Darby, and that's fantastic. But that was a good month. But then there needed to be a plan after that if they were going to walk away with those belts. And you do that tournament, that just leads to another Bucks and FTR match. And granted, it was a good ladder match. I enjoyed it. I think it's honestly their second best match in their feud, because I still prefer the first match. I think it's their best match overall. That first one, I think, is fantastic. But there hasn't been.
Oh my God, did Kaden just dip out? Oh no, this is gone off the rails, fellas. I'm not gonna lie to you. My internet cut out, and it seems like Kaden's sound's now cut out. Oh no, this is it. We're in shambles, fellas. We're in shambles. You know, we appreciate Kaden for leading the troops while I get back, and then I get back, and there he goes. Pros at work, yes, of course. We are pros on this show. We're gonna roll onwards. Honestly, I'm gonna skip up a little bit here. Might as well. Any chance Jamie Hayter returns, I can definitely see it. I think so. This You've been saying this for a long time. I agree. Mercedes and DMD at All Out. I don't know. I'm not too sure about all that. I don't know if we want to see that come back around again. Does Mina show up on All In? I think so. I think for sure. Outrunners over MXM. I'm not going to say you're necessarily wrong, but I'm a big fan of both. I think they're both pretty solid teams. Suns and Shadows, it is great to see you as always. Glad to see you again. Let's see here. What's your thoughts on All In Texas? You know, we'll wait a second until Kaden gets back for that question, because I feel like I'm interested to hear his answer. But yeah, we're tagging it out here. Pros at work, fellas. It's been an interesting last, I don't know, 5-10 minutes here. I appreciate you guys sticking around though. If you guys are in this in the live chat and haven't left a like on the stream, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and send all your super chats in as well. I would very much appreciate that. Kaden is back, has returned. That was crazy.
Mine kicked me out too.
Dude, that was crazy. So I go out, you leave the stream, you take point here. And as soon as I'm back, like the second I'm back, you're kicked too. That's like Suns and Shadows said, pros at work, baby. This is what it's all about. I left this question to you. What are your thoughts on All In Texas? Because I feel like it's a fun question to have, and I'm pretty sure is that a home state for you?
That is my home state. I'm from Austin.
Oh yeah.
I am in Austin right now, suffering through a 105-degree day. It is still 102 degrees.
Oh, fuck me, bro.
Yeah, it is 102 right now.
Oh my God.
In this room. Oh, sorry, it hit 107 today. That's what our max was.
Oh.
We have a heat wave right now. It's gonna drop next week, but
that sounds like great fun. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, this is my home state. I've been to a lot of AEW shows in Texas. They do the December run, and I go to as many as possible.
Mm-hmm.
They're begging for a legitimate pay-per-view, not a final battle, not a winner is coming. And this is awesome. Globe Life it's a newer stadium, a newer ballpark that they opened, I think in like 2021, like right after COVID or right before COVID, like around that range.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to Minute Maid, which is what held Royal Rumble 2019, or 2020. So if you go off of like the setup there, that's very likely, I would assume, how AEW does their setup. Yeah, good size. Texas is going to show up, show out. People are going to travel in. The bet I made with my friends was I expect this to be a full sellout, whatever, how many tickets they sell, like however they put up the first day. I think within 24 hours of general on sale, they'll be gone.
Wow, that's a big bet right there. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I could definitely see it happening. I'm really excited for this show. I've only ever been to one pay-per-view. Thankfully, they came to Greensboro for Revolution. You see, we got a little poster here in the back of the main event. So I am pretty ecstatic to get the opportunity to go to another show like that, considering it's All In. I think I got to make my way over there. And also, it's on July 12th. That's a day before my birthday. So I feel like a little birthday trip to Texas.
Yeah.
You know, why not? Maybe meet a few folks down there. Who knows?
It'll be a really fun weekend. I'm very genuinely, like, I had someone from AEW text me the news, and I was like, oh, I'm so happy.
Oh, that's sick. That's very, very cool. So yeah, I mean, you guys will be seeing Kaden Lee next year. Maybe you'll be seeing me. Who knows? Hopefully some independents come down there, can do an independent tour while I'm in town. But yeah, it's gonna be a great venue. Should be a great show. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We'll get to the next. We gotta get a good little question here. Oh, this is a good shout here. Need to start putting more singles guys into full-on teams. I made this as a big point in my video about tag wrestling. I gave some shouts on who I would want. I'd love to hear who you'd want to see, like two singles guys as a team, or even two like a former tag team coming back together.
Oh, I want them to keep Ishii, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So I just put Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong together and have them be a team. I think that's a home run. That'd be fantastic. I would put Claudio and Yuta into the tag division for a little bit if you're not gonna seriously push either of them as singles guys. I think it would do wonders for Yuta to be working with him for a little bit. And Claudio is a really good tag team wrestler. Those are two I think you could like immediately put into the tag division and it would work.
I 100% agree with Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly. Those two are animals in the ring. I'd love to see them get back together. And I think the Yuta and Claudio team is one that I haven't really heard, honestly, that I think would be a great shout. I'm a big Yuta guy. I think he's got a lot of potential, and Claudio's Claudio, so they could add some real needed life into the tag division. There's a lot of shouts out there though. Maybe Roosh and Beast Mortos. I've
Oh
heard that a
yeah.
lot.
Bring back
That's the
Big Bill
heater.
and Brian Cage.
Oh, that's what I said too. I said that in the video. I was like, bro, gotta get it. They were a really good team when they were duoed up. So I would love to see them come back.
I think AEW could benefit from doing a blind tag tournament again. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I
Swerve
agree. I
and
think
being teamed up. That's a home run.
yeah. Why not, dude? I mean,
Do
we have
it.
a tag division that's like everyone's kind of down on right now. Add some spice into it. Inject some life. Why not?
Yep. 100%.
Um, yeah, those are some great shouts there. We have one from JA. This is a broad question. Do you feel like AEW is doing a good job building up new stars? I feel like this is a very like it's a very intricate question. I feel like there's a lot to like get into with this, but I feel like what I really want to think about when I think about AEW building new stars is how the rest of the year is going to look. Because I feel like someone like Daniel Garcia, someone like Konosuke Takeshita, those will kind of be the barometer for me. That'll tell me if they're able to do it and if they're even good at it. Because those two, they're right on the precipice. I feel like they're two people you kind of have to make new stars. What do you think about all that?
There's nuance to the question.
Yeah.
What do you consider a new star? I think that's a big part of it. And then also, like, when you look at WWE, they've done a good job of building a guy like Trick, Braun Breaker, and Mello is doing okay. But, like, it's really Braun and Trick are, like, the two main guys you kind of look at. And then, like, Tiffany Stratton on the women's side. Besides that, like, Cody's been around forever. And um, Gunther has been around for a while. I wouldn't consider him a new star. He's been around for a decade, 2 decades.
Yeah.
The
That's
wrestler.
those are some great shouts. I feel like both companies are a little bit older than people
Yeah,
think, you know?
yeah. People don't realize that. And like, look at AEW. They built Will Ospreay. He's 30 years old, first time in a major promotion in America. He's
Hmm.
only been there since March. He's been
Yeah.
built really well. Daniel Garcia, even though like I don't think his booking has been really great, they've still built him as a credible guy to the point where people thought there was a chance he could beat MJF or that he
Yeah,
was people were pretty convinced that he could have beaten Christian Cage at Revolution.
for
There's
sure.
both companies do a really good job of it. I think WWE is a little bit more focused because of NXT. You notice it more. But
Yeah.
AEW has been really good.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to like NXT, you see like that's where they keep a lot of their younger guys. So when it's like, okay, we're announcing this new influx of talent from NXT, you start to say, okay, those are the young guys. I should pay attention to those people like a lot of the time. And I feel like with AEW, everybody just kind of feels like they're in the mix. It's hard to distinguish
Yeah.
who's older and who's younger. Like Hangman's he's not old by any means. Swerve, he's not very old by any means either. Those are guys that could be in this company for another what, 10 years even? Like you never know.
I mean, I think they both can wrestle for another 15, 20. Honestly, with the way wrestlers
Yeah.
are now.
I mean, even as like main eventers, like,
Oh yeah. Like yeah, Swerve's only 33. Like that's young.
yeah,
That's so young in wrestling. Think about like
that's a
Rollins
young
at
man.
38.
Yeah, for sure. I'm working on a video right now. about wrestlers who are under 30. That's a little shout to anyone who's in here. I could just list a few names off here, and like a few names in AEW specifically. MJF is 28 years old. Jack Perry is 27. Bandito is 29. Kyle Fletcher is 25. And, Wheeler Yuta is 27. Those are names right there. That's like, those are some big up and coming guys that you could easily turn into main eventers. So,
Yep.
it's how it goes with both companies. But obviously, you said a few names there from WWE who are some younger guys. I feel like neither company is perfect, but I feel like they both, are doing a decent job at it so far.
Yeah, I think like a lot of people too are gonna look at like how they've treated like with Ricky, like with the Ricky stuff from last night. People are gonna look at Ricky and be like, "Oh, AEW doesn't build young guys." Ricky's 34. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
he goes like Ethan Page is like 35, 36. I think he's pretty old.
He's right about there. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's ages are weird in wrestling.
Yeah, the one that shocks me the most is how old Tony Storm is. How old do you think Tony Storm is?
Like 28, right?
I think she's 25.
She's
pretty
back.
I don't. Maybe I'm tripping. Hang on. I wrote her down too on this list. Hang on. She's 28. You're right. 28. 25 would have been crazy. Oh, I don't know what I was cooking with that.
26.
Yeah, like those two. I feel like in the women's division, like the AEW women's division is full of young talent that I feel like is right up there. Billy Starks is one name that I'm really excited about. She's 18 years old. It's like.
Yeah. Billy's like 19.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, that's definitely a couple names right there. So yeah, I feel like that's a good answer to that question. A very broad one, but honing in on a few, I think that's good. We have King Murdoch. Good to see you as always. Of course, has the Noah Flames as a profile picture, which isn't the usual King Murdoch profile picture, but I'm assuming that's because that he will be at the London Noah UK tour and we'll be able to meet and greet Kaito Kiyomiya. That's a nice little meet and greet there. Kaito's the beast. That's very exciting.
I'm looking for something. Let's see. I do have it. Let's go.
Oh shit! No way. Big Keno? That's so sick.
Hurricane on May 21st.
That's so. So you were in Japan.
Yeah, I was in Japan in May.
That's so sick. Dude, I'm a white guy. I'm like, yeah, dude, I want to go to Japan. That's sick. But I want to go to Japan for the wrestling. You being able to meet Keno, that's sick.
Yeah, I got lucky. That was like they needed some people to they were trying to sell that show out because it was not a good card. It was honestly like a pretty bad show. And they were like, "Oh, we're gonna put Keno on this."
That's awesome. That's awesome. One day we'll get out to Japan. One day. Sons and Shadows. I want Nigel post match to attack Brian after he wins the title. I don't think you're gonna get that. I mean, I would like it. I don't think you're gonna get it. I feel like if you were gonna get it, it probably would have happened at this show. But I wouldn't hate it.
I could see him in the gauntlet.
That would be cool. That'd be a cool little place for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do too much. Doesn't have to go too crazy. Yeah, why not? We have another one here. Joe Hook. That's a good little team from earlier this year. It's one of the most underrated TV matches of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Claudio Mox instead of Yuta. That wouldn't be too crazy of a team. Roddy and Kyle, like you said. Those are some good little shouts there.
Claudio and Mox was a good team earlier this year.
Yeah, for sure. Adam Cole showing up.
Yeah.
Probably not. His ankle might be cooked still. His ankle might be cooked. He could. But I did hear a report, though, that he was like just now getting back into training.
I don't know. Right? I was reported. Okay, good. I can talk about that. Yeah, Adam Cole's about to start training. I think he starts this Friday. Last Friday or this Friday that he starts training. So he's getting close. Look, Cole's been walking for months. I saw him at the airport in February. I was stalking him. I have to clarify that because someone asked me. I was at the airport.
Okay, you're waiting in the bushes. We get it. No, it's okay.
That man was walking in a boot perfectly fine. He is going to start training, though. I could see him. All Out also feels like a good place to do that, though.
For sure. That'd be a good little show for him. Make him feel like a big deal. We have BrxinBuster. We are here. It's great to have you as always, BrxinBuster. Support the Grabs podcast. I'm going to be on the Grabs podcast, actually. We're going to record an episode. I think it'll be out tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune into that Grabs podcast on YouTube. Shout out BrxinBuster and Khalid. Let's see here. They took the ROH belts off the Kingdom for a reason. I think maybe because they're going to be going to the AEW like main, not sticking to ROH. So I could see that sort of thing. We have another one from Thomas. Okay, we've got a new agenda here for Thomas. The Von Erichs propaganda. Interesting. Okay, we're expanding the gimmick. I get that's fire. That's fire. This is a very funny one. You got to run a fan meetup, bro. Who's coming to meet me, dog? Dude, I make wrestling videos. Let's keep it a buck here. I'm not gonna kid myself. Let's see here. They could start building up the Von Erichs for pay-per-view as a young up-and-coming tag team. I don't think they're that young, actually. But they're a good little team.
They're like late 30s.
Yeah, they're a little older, but
Yeah.
they're fine. I don't know about a pay-per-view, but they're fine. Let's see here.
I think they could work FTR on that show. I don't think it'd be for the titles, but I think they're gonna work FTR.
That'd be cool. Maybe FTR wins those tag belts at All In. Maybe we could see something like that. Yeah, I wouldn't hate seeing it. Let's see here. You know, we might as well. Let's jump into to our next little segment here. Let's talk about a good match. Let's talk about a real good match. Darby Allin and FTR versus the Elite. Brother, we're cooking with gas with this match, aren't we? We're cooking with gas.
Yeah, this is real. This is unfortunately very real. I am so excited. I'm more excited for this than I am for the pay-per-view match on Sunday. Like,
Cook.
so much better.
Yes, you are correct. In both the trios and the tag match, you're right.
This is gonna be awesome. I wonder if they wanted to do this before like Anarchy, or if this feels like it was planned at some point between like that feud, and then FTR got injured, and then Darby could not work until you got to like mid-July. But I feel like this was planned like months ago, and they were like, okay, let's go ahead and do it now. But like, it's awesome. This is so cool.
Yeah, this is a great match right here. This is going to be a real fun one. Obviously, we have Darby Allin in it, who's going to do his thing. But you got FTR and the Bucks in there. You know, it could be fun. We got Jack Perry in there. This is going to be a really fun match. It'll be very, very exciting, I think. It's a great little match for Cardiff, I think. Great match for it. Hot crowd, I'm assuming. Everybody gets to. Oh, it's a good one. I'm really pumped for this one.
Yeah.
We can get back here as well to the chat.
This could bring out like what we want out of the Bucks.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Obviously, we're talking earlier about how the Bucks haven't been very locked in. This could be a match that could lock them in too, other than that trios match. This is, you're in there with Darby Allin, you're in there with FTR, who have unlimited gas tanks, who don't stop going, who give their all in every single match. If that doesn't bring some inspiration to your work, I don't know what else will. I don't know what else.
I mean, their three best matches of the year involved these three other guys. Like the ladder match with FTR, the match at Revolution with Sting and Darby, and then Anarchy in the Arena involved all three of them. Those were the three best matches of the year.
That is a great point. I didn't even realize that. This has been their best work all year. Hopefully this slots in right next to those matches as something to really look at the end of the year. I don't know if it'll reach those heights, but I think it has a lot of potential too. We have one from Young Nabs here. Maybe put Hobbs and Cage together. That'd be a fun little brawlic team. Why not?
Been there.
Yeah.
We can do it again.
Yeah, why not? WrestleHook. Mariah May has been one of their biggest examples of building a new star to me. 100% agree. I mean, she spent all of her time in AEW being built up to a new star, and being in the position she's at. She's in one of the biggest matches, some people my own, most hype match on all of All In. So I feel like that doesn't tell you where she's at as a performer, where she's at in terms of standing in the company. I don't know what else will.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No
comment. No comment. We gotta talk about all that.
comment.
Let's see here. This is a good shout. Cole will show up at Grand Slam. He wants to defeat the Ramp at Grand Slam, which is undefeated. Yeah, he is 0-1 versus the Ramp, and he took him off the shelf for a little while. Did a little ambulance angle with the Ramp. So I don't know. He's definitely got to get his revenge. I feel like a nice little swift was the Panama Sunrise to the Ramp. I could see it.
I can get free re-debuts.
Yeah, for sure. That'll be, well, not a big show. Tickets are looking a little crazy right now, but hey, it's still got a lot of time. You could put a lot of big stuff on that card. You never know. Let's see. That's a good shout here from the Late Night Grin. Be wary of Kaden. He's under contract with our rival firm. Look, I'm keeping my eye on him. Don't you worry. Don't worry. And speaking of Late Night Grin, we're going to be on the Late Night Grin this Friday. We're going to cover All In at 11:05 EST with Joe Hulbert, Confirm Shoot, and Duke's Grin. We're going to be covering all those matches, kind of just expanding on what we're talking about here, expanding on what I've said on the channel before. So yeah, lock into that. It should be a really fun show. I even have access. I could throw on a Late Night Grin banner right now. I'm not gonna do it, but I could. I'm just telling you. So you watch your back. The Grin is coming for you, pal.
All I'll say about my contract is it is not ironclad.
Oh, hold on.
Very much like those CMLL contracts. I can snake my way out of them if I need to.
Do whatever you got to do to get to the Fed. No, I get it. I get it. Let's see here. Got one from Tony. I hope Jamie comes out during the TBS and after the world title match. Doing both. Maybe planting seeds for both the matches. I feel like if she's gonna come out after one of those, I think it's got to be or after DMD and Britt Baker. I feel like that's kind of the way to do it.
I think if she's coming out after a match, it'll be the world title.
That's interesting. So
you'd
have. Yeah, I don't know. You'd have. It seems likely that Mariah is going to be winning that match. So you do Mariah versus Hayter that soon?
Part of me wonders if Mariah is not winning that belt.
Oh, interesting. Fire that take off. Give me that take right now.
Yeah, the last few days, I don't know. They're pushing Mariah really hard, and I wonder if they decide to do Tony and Jamie as the rematch before they get to Mariah, and they let Mariah beat Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
With the way the story's been told. And you also look at that's both of the Owen winners winning, and both of the titles changing hands. I could see them saying, "Let's hold on to Tony, let her win this story," because Mariah, she got the Owen and she turned heel. I don't know. Part of me, I just have a feeling. I have a feeling that Tony might retain.
Yeah, honestly, this is a good shout here for me and Davis. Wait, he's cooking. Hold on, he might be cooking with gas here. Mariah, I've been all in on Mariah. I love Mariah May. I think she's a fantastic wrestler. I don't even think she's at her peak yet. I don't think she is by far. I think she's even a long way from that. But if there's going to be a moment for her to win, I personally think it's here. But you made a lot of good points. I'm not going to lie. I could see Tony coming out and running back that Jamie match. And didn't she? She was the one who beat her for that title in like 3 minutes, right?
Beat her in about 3:26, I think was the time, something like that. Double or nothing. 23. I was there. It's unfortunate. Unfortunate. I mean, they have that really good first match where Jamie beat her for the title at Full Gear 2022, and they're even. They're 1-1. That's a really easy match to run back and All Out. Put the title on Jamie there, and then you can do Jamie and Mariah down the road at World's End and end the year with Mariah winning, which is almost like Full Gear or World's End, which would be about a year since Mariah came into the company.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate to see it. And also, you got to think, All In isn't going to be at Wembley next year. It's going to be in Texas. So they got to run that show in Great Britain. They said they were going to do it. So maybe they run that early in the year and they have Mariah win there against Jamie.
100%. The other thing I like to remind people when it comes to someone having their first world title match is Tony Khan does not like giving people the win on their first try. I think it's happened once or twice. There's one recently that they did. Can't remember who it was. Might have been Max. But you can look at Max's world title. He won on his second try against Moxley. Danielson's had 3 tries, and if he wins on Sunday, that'd be his fourth at that point. Hangman didn't win on his first try. He had to come back 2 years later at Full Gear 2021 to win. Tony is known for not giving people the win on their first shot. I think it's a pretty good idea to just do it later. Let Mariah win later. It would work.
Yeah, I could see that working. Honestly, you've kind of convinced me to kind of throw in some doubt on this match, and you've convinced Ian Davis again. He's asking for you to get the pen. I don't know. Should we? That's a great point, though. That's a great little analysis of that match. I haven't heard that side of it, so it's good to kind of get the opposite end of the spectrum, just being, a big Mariah guy. I think that's a great point. We got another one from Young Nabs. Who is your favorite faction of all time in AEW so far? There's been a lot of them, and it's a tough challenge. It's a tough shot for me, honestly. There's a lot of them that I really love, but I'm always got a soft spot for the Elite,
Yeah.
Darby, Punk, and Sting. That was a nice little team. I love that when that was a thing. You know, it was not a faction, but does it work? I don't know.
Hmm. The BCC until 2024.
That's what I was gonna. That's what immediately came to my mind, and I was hoping you'd say that because I don't want to be the one to say until 2024. I let you do that. But yeah, I love the BCC when they were first formed with Regal and them telling that story. I recently revisited Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta.
Mhm.
That match is a fucking all timer. Their match at Rampage.
Match, I think, is what it is. Something
Yeah,
like
where Wheels joins the BCC and writes BCC in blood on his chest. That match is fantastic. That's a great shout. That's a great pick right there.
I love
Um,
that. Like that first, even 2023, some people weren't super into them, but I still really liked them. Like up until Revolution this year, I loved that team.
mhm. I 100% agree. In the chat, we're seeing, I've been seeing this all night. A lot of hologram love for that Casino Gauntlet. Don't get too ahead of yourself, guys. We got to let him build his stock on old Collision.
He needs to.
Colliz He's got to do his thing over there. Got a question directly to you, Kaden, from BrxinBuster. Can you speak a bit on the 2019 Classic that is R-Truth versus Drake Maverick? I'm pretty sure this is the match that Ibu won't watch.
Yeah,
Am I correct on that?
yeah, Ibu wants me to pay him, and I will not pay that carny.
No.
This is a fantastic match. Um, it won't let me rate it on Cage Match. If I my number one, like I know there's a lot of tens I've given, I would make sure I would email the Cage Match people to make sure it's ranked at the number one no matter what. This is a barn burner. They did things in this match that I've never seen done before. I had an out of body experience, and I had a similar experience versus Konosuke Takeshita and Will Ospreay at Revolution this year. I was in the building like I felt things, but that match did it to me, and I wasn't even there. It was something special.
Transcended the screen, give you feeling right through.
It is a fantastic match. It's the best match of 2019 without a doubt, in my opinion. I would put it above Kenny Omega and the ace Hiroshi Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom 13. I think it clears that. Genuinely, it clears that match. Not even close. It's much better than Cody versus Dustin. Sorry, I can't go that far. Cody versus Dustin is my favorite match of all time. Right below Cody versus
So
Dustin.
if that's the favorite match of all time, it's about right here.
Right there. It's right below.
Yeah.
It is great. It is such a good match. I recommend everybody watch it. It's the best match. It's the second best match of all time behind Cody and Dustin.
I knew Late Night Grin was correct, saying I gotta watch my back with you. Let's see here.
Great match.
We'll clarify that the wait he's cooking message that sent that is in the chat right now, where as I'm scrolling, was not about that. Let's not go too far now. Cookie to Goat. I'm seeing your name on Twitter a lot. I think Mariah wins in a later stip match. I could see it. A lot of blood in this feud. You know, it's a blood feud. I feel like if they don't bleed at Wembley, it's doing it a little bit of a disservice. But if Tony, does win that belt and retains, I feel like it could lead to something bigger like that down the line.
Yeah, it's an option. Definitely an option. I'd prefer that over Mariah straight up winning on Sunday.
Yeah, well, there you have it. Sons and Shadows, you have to remember, Jamie and DMD still have an unresolved story, and the TBS feud already will bring that back. I don't think they're gonna be. I don't think they're gonna be too chatty. I hate to say it, but those two are not fans of one another. They're not buddies. That's all we'll say about all that.
I think the ship has sailed.
Yeah, I agree. Apollo, I'm hearing from fans it's going to be a Dynamite for the ages. Boy, I hope so. We've covered the show pretty much up and down. We're getting down to the end. We got one more thing to cover. We're going through these chats here. But yeah, I think it will be too. If you guys are sitting in the chat and have not left a like on the stream, go ahead and like the stream. If you're feeling oh so generous, we have super chats. Make sure to send any in. Send any comments in as well. We're gonna get to this last segment of the show pretty soon and wrap things up. So we have a little bit of time to get your popcorn, do all that good stuff for Dynamite. You gotta lock in. But we'll keep going here with the chat. Thank you guys for all the messages. It's been great. This week and last week in particular, you guys have been awesome. So thank you guys all for hanging out here and appreciate it very much. We have Prince Vegeta here. Nah, Mariah got a win. She's on a roll, so winning's the best option. I get where you're coming from there, but hey, we said earlier, Kaden might be cooking. Kaden might be cooking. Oh, Katie, what the fuck? Let's see here. There's a lot of debate about the Tony versus Mariah match. There's a lot of chats about it.
Mhm.
Tony's already minted. Mariah needs to win more. Tony versus Jamie could be a number one contender match. Yeah, but I don't. I think that match, the third, the equalizer, whoever's going to take the advantage in the feud, it's got to be a bigger match than the number one contender, right? It's got to be a little bit bigger than that. It
Mhm.
deserves more. Mariah for sure wins here. I think she holds until World's End or something. Yeah, I mean, if she's gonna hold it, I don't think it's gonna be crazy long, but yeah, I don't know. Suns and Shadows. Tony always circles back to stories he did not get the chance to finish. Yeah, he does a lot of the time, not always. But I don't think that's one he's gonna do. I think they're gonna be kept pretty separate. Old DMD and Jamie Hayter.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Tony, I'm really interested in seeing Mariah do angles with other people. Yeah, whether she wins or loses, I feel like I'm excited to see what she does, what she decides to cook up with people other than Tony. I mean, she's been fantastic in this feud. I think she's been great ever since she appeared on TV. So I feel like her just as a character, even outside of all the Tony stuff, I feel like it's going to be really great and a really great addition to the show. So
I
yeah,
think that's a big part of why I think it's a good idea to circle back on her winning because you can see what she can do in a different story before you put the title on her. And I think that's important to making sure that that is where you want to go with her.
yeah, I agree with that. I think cooking again, cooking again. Fruit Loop, didn't Saraya win on her first shot at the belt last year? Kaden,
Yeah,
stats?
it's a bad idea. Like
Yes,
you look at
very bad.
yeah, most of the times when someone won on their first shot, it was a bad idea. And you look at since then, Swerve didn't win on his first shot at Revolution. He won the second time when he faced
Yeah,
Samoa
the three-way.
singles match at Dynasty. You look at Will Ospreay, didn't win on his first shot. He's eventually going to win that title, but he did have to lose his Swerve first. It's something they've done. They have done consistently.
Yeah, I also am in agreement. Saraya winning that fucking belt was a terrible decision. We
So
have a few answers to the greatest faction in AEW history, and there's been a consistent name brought up here. Team Taz for me. Team Taz. Team Taz for me too. Team Taz rocked. They were a great little stable there.
they ruled, but they never won.
They never won. They never got any victories. It was very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Let's see here. Ian Davis, thoughts on the dentist, Big Novi, and Kaden. There's a lot of thoughts you got to have on the dentist by this point. I'm not a great big fan of the dentist. I'm gonna be honest. I really wanted to like her run after when she came back not too long ago, but look, I don't know. I don't think she has it. I'm afraid to say.
She's always been very kind to me, and that's all I'll say.
Fair, fair. Gotta keep good relations. We do good PR here on the Novi broadcast. My opinions do not reflect the opinions of Kaden Lee of the Performance Center. Let's see here. We're not even we won't talk about all. Let's see here. Is it just me or does the Mercedes versus Brit build feel like a WWE build? Because wrestling hasn't really been a focus in a lot of promos. Not saying it's been a bad thing, just noticing it. I don't necessarily think so. I think they've been doing a few things that feel a little different, but I think there are similarities you can draw, and I think that's one of the reasons why I haven't loved it so much because Mercedes is known to be an in-ring wrestler. That's what she's best at. So I want to see her do that just a bit more going forward, going out of this feud.
It's a Packerman feud. She's writing it. It's her
Yeah.
thing. That's what she's meant to do with Mercedes. It's going to inherently feel more WWE, just like a lot of things that some other writers in the company do who were not necessarily writers or who mainly wrote in WWE. It happens. I do kind of agree. I see the point you're making. I do just think a lot of it was the suspension. I can't say it was a bad it's hard for me to call it bad when someone in like the main part of the feud got suspended for 3 weeks. So I give some grace.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. Let's see here. Also, I'm looking forward to the Dynamite a lot. Yeah, we've had a lot of great sentiment about this Dynamite. And speaking of Dynamite, we're counting down till we go live here. So I don't want to go too crazy. I usually like to go right down to the wire, but we have a guest here on the show for the first time. So let's go ahead and jump in to what should be, well, maybe not should be, but what could be the main event. the final showdown, Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson, a face-to-face, assumedly, that's narrated by Nigel McGuinness, the GOAT instigator. This should be a lot of fun. I have a lot of thoughts about this feud. I'm going to get them all off. Probably not on this show because, look, we don't have the time to spend doing this. But that, guys, here for everyone that's in here right now, that's going to be the video on Saturday. You'll hear me talking about it on Friday on the Late Night Grin. I have a lot of thoughts about this, but this specific thing on this show should add some much needed juice to the feud. I think, them being face to face, that's always been, I feel like, the best part of this feud. Whenever they get in the ring together, they lock eyes and they talk about each other. They talk about how both are feeling coming into this match. And then obviously we have Nigel to come in there to throw shade at Bryan, to say he's not going to do it, to talk his talk as he usually does. This should be a fun, much needed segment to add to the main event of All In. How you feeling, Kaden Lee?
This is an important segment. I don't have the issues that a lot of other people have. I haven't had them. I was in favor of Danielson going to Wembley. He's my favorite of all time. I'm obviously going to be in favor of that. I didn't think Hangman necessarily needed. I think you can save that story for later. I also think it's more impactful to have Hangman be the one to potentially retire Danielson at Wrestle Dream. That's the plan, is you put the belt here on Danielson and you have him go to Wrestle Dream and he retires there, which makes sense to me. It feels like that's kind of what they've been telegraphing for a while. I think it's more impactful for Hangman to be the one to put Bryan Danielson into the mud and do something else with Swerve, which the All Out match is what people are thinking. So in that part, I'm enjoying that. I thought last week's segment did a lot to drum up heat. And the inherent problem with the feud that also Britt and Mercedes had was Danielson couldn't be on TV for a few weeks because he was dealing with injuries. Swerve was also in a different story for Blood and Guts. So once you got past that, you kind of start building stuff up. But still, Danielson could barely wrestle. They're telling the story of the retirement, which I don't love the angle they took with it, but that is kind of what they're going with. So it has limited some things you can do. Last week was great. What they did last week was really, really damn good.
I agree.
I showed it to my friends. I showed my friend the package, and I showed them the angle. Both of those things combined hooked me. And this is another segment that, I think they're there. I think they're okay with, most fans. I think it's, our little bubble of the IWC is not ecstatic with it because we read all the interviews. I think that's a problem. So this needs to really hook us. The bubble of the IWC, that's what this segment is for. Everybody else, I think last week got them.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Last week was a really good angle. I thought it added a lot of juice. Maybe we see Swerve. Maybe he goes so far as to kill Wheeler Yuta this week. I mean, he already did his fair share of damage last week. Maybe that could be a little heater. But look, we have someone in the backstage area, a wonderful guest to put on this show, Joe Hulbert.
I can do this whenever now. I can just show up and join the show. This is great.
Yeah, on the Novi pre-show, you can. We have access.
I may just do it for 2 minutes every week and just stop by and say hello. Hello, everyone. I'm here. I'm concerned about Kaden Lee of the Performance Center, who's I must say, I use this show as a chance to scout him. Good little wrestler, nice drop kick. But this is the Late Night Grin's official sponsored StreamYard. And Kaden has 2 contracts with rival promoters, I'm pretty sure. What territory is he working for now, Kaden?
Well, I told Novi, my contract is not ironclad. I built mine using the same people that built Stephanie Bakir's contract with CMLL.
Okay.
Used the exact same agents, fantastic workers. And but I am working the Wrestle Purist territory a little bit, working there mainly. And every once in a while, I show up to work the Fightful Select territory. But that's a rare one. That's maybe once a month I show up, I do a date, I go home. I collect my paycheck. I'm not there for the fans. I'm there for my paycheck, and I go home.
Well, I can respect that. I do respect that. I think, you're a young gun in the game. I just want to tell you, got to be careful with that Montgomery fella over at Wrestle Purist. He's very Paul Heyman when it comes to dealings in this industry. So
You got all your checks, Joe? All them clear?
Well, no comment. But This is a good show you guys have been doing here. I'm just stopping by a pop myself, but this honestly has been a very good show. It's good to hear professional wrestling talk. I quite like it, wrestling. It's good.
You know, here on the Novi channel, we've recently been acquired under the late night StreamYard banner. We talk graps on this channel. That's what we're always known for. So it's great to have a little grab stock here. It's great to have everybody here. And as this message, very funny message, pop me huge. When all your Twitter follows link up. That's fantastic.
It's the thing about this show, and I was just thinking about this. This show is better than the Graps Pod, right? It has to be. Like,
yeah.
I was thinking about, because I know that's a comparison a lot of people make. And like BrxinBusters, the thing about the Graps Pod is that show is actually good when he keeps the audio. The problem with that show is he never has the audio for the podcast, so it's just silence.
That's a great point. We'll pull back the curtain here, guys, for you.
Yes, we should, please do.
We were going to make an appearance on the Graps podcast. Those fucking lames on the Graps podcast, right? And they had the gall, the audacity to not check their audio before the show. 2 big stars on their program, and they just chose not to do audio checks. Look, I'm not going to say that we're better than the Graps podcast. I'm just going to let that be what everyone's saying, because obviously everyone's saying that. Many people are saying
Everyone's saying it.
The streets are saying it.
Uh-oh.
I'm glad that you
Chance.
immediately...
No fucking chance.
I'm glad that you accepted that invite as quickly as that.
No chance, brother.
Just let him go. Let him come up here.
I was tempted to do this the whole time. No fucking chance.
It's having this much power is scary.
It's a little
really
much,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mean to
Anyway,
pull up the spot, but
should we
hey, Joe,
leave?
fuck off.
Should we?
Oh my... Look.
Okay.
I do one show, right? And I say, all right, we're gonna bring on one little guest here. This first time ever, we're gonna host a show. We're gonna do our thing. And then we have this lame guy on the bottom right, and we have the biggest free agent in wrestling on the top right. This is crazy. What a moment in time. When the world stood still. Everyone gets
It's
an invite.
really terribly unfair to Kaden Lee of the Performance Center, who's just simply trying to do a good guest spot, but that's
Trying to do his grab stock.
Yeah.
Get
No room
worked.
for that.
This is my. I'm Adam Copeland, and you guys are collectively Bryan Danielson at WrestleMania 37.
True.
Look, there's a guy right here who is abusing his power with my channel.
I don't know.
And he's on the screen right now. Look, we are we are friendly promotion with the Graps podcast, but we are starting the war again. We are coming back, circling around for round 2.
Okay.
We went on good terms, and look what you've done.
I like the Graps podcast. It's just I can never hear it. There's no audio.
Fuck off.
I like watching it. I still sometimes have it on. I just can't hear it. It's terrible.
Dude, what was annoying about that? You could hear everybody else except me. It wasn't like
The host.
Should have uploaded it like that. It would have been better, you think?
Dude,
Fuck off, bro.
if I was tasked with working OBS, I would have quit within like a week. So don't worry about it. But
that's the only way we got Kaden here. Because we stopped doing that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we're on to bigger and better things. I'm gonna go eat my food now.
Go on, mate.
Well, hold on. BrxinBuster.
What's up?
What you eating?
I'm eating a Lane's chicken sandwich. You ever had Lane's?
Never fucking heard of it.
It's like Cane's, just not as good, except it's cheaper.
Oh.
But they have a chicken
Cane's
sandwich.
is the best chicken spot, right?
We had the best. It's the best place that has sauce for chicken. The chicken's not that great, to be totally honest. But
Joe,
Like
you
in Kentucky.
know what Canes is, Joe?
I do, yeah. I'm well traveled, Kaden, but most regular Brits wouldn't. But I obviously pretty big deal. I'm aware. BrxinBuster, what's the deal with a salute? Are you a big military guy or something?
No, it just started. What really it originated in high school. I had a friend named Graham. Shout out Graham if you're watching. You're not, but
Shout out Graham.
He would see me every day before English, and he would go like this. So I did it back, and then it just became.
Was he a Republican?
He
Like
could.
you?
He could be. Shut the fuck off. He could be. I have no idea.
He could be. You didn't ask.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would assume not.
Yeah.
You didn't say, hey, buddy, why you do this? You support the troops like me?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
no.
interesting.
It would be
made a-
funny if Graham had like grand intentions with that gesture and it was a really important thing to him.
And
And now
it
it's just
spread out
your...
to
Yeah.
It's just a joke to you,
Wrestling
and it was his
conversational
whole life.
sure, man.
It's brutal for him. Look, Ian Davis here. We'll pull this up before we send everybody off. How about top 5 Jake Lee matches? We're not going to ask that. We're going to ask BrxinBuster. What's your top 5 favorite Keiji Muto matches?
Question.
The steel cage match. He teams with what? Joe, this is a question for you. Actually, he had the steel cage match in WCW where he teamed.
He teamed with Terry
Funk, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
versus Ric Flair and Sting.
That's a very good match.
It is very good. Yeah, Halloween Havoc, 89.
That one.
Yeah,
I gave you an opportunity to get your shit off. I'm glad you didn't. We keep it professional. That's wonderful.
Keiji Muto fucking sucks.